Hey, my friends, it's your girl Cassandra coming back to you today with another 10-minute takeaway. I hope you've been enjoying this series throughout this month. Again, the purpose why am I doing these 10-minute takeaways? We're doing a promotion this month where we are accepting 5 new life coaching clients. And I like to give people a sneak peek of what goes on behind the scenes because you'd be surprised. A lot of questions that my clients come to me with are questions that you are also asking yourself. So, who am I? If you don't know, my name is Cassandra Bellevue. I am a certified life coach and an author. And one of my passions and one of my purposes in this life is to help other people to break free of a lot of limitations and help to get them launched out into their purpose, their calling, and their destiny as well. I always like to start off with my quick commercial. CassandraBellevue.com. Run out there as soon as you can for 3 reasons. Well, number 1, sign up for our email family. Join our little email community. If you have been enjoying this series, I'm going to be sending out emails periodically that are along the same vein to encourage you, to uplift you, to remind you you're doing okay, keep going, don't quit, don't stop. And so sometimes we just need that little bit of encouragement throughout the weeks, but you guys will also be the first to know about any type of promotions or giveaways. And also, once we get those 5 clients, we're going to shut down registration. But whenever a new spot opens up or anything like that, the folks on the email family are going to be the first to find out about those. I usually give you first dibs for the first 24 to 48 hours, and then I announce it to the public. So if you want to be in the know, you want to be the first to know, join the email family. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's free. So number 2, $5 sale. We're having a closeout sale going out right now. CassandraBellevue.com/store. T-shirts, tanks, hats, beanies, visors, get you right for spring break and the summertime. Go out there and grab some of those. Like I said, they're only $5. And why are we selling them for $5? Because we actually are making room for brand new inventory. Plain and simple. Number 3, my favorite thing happening right now on CassandraBellevue.com is the $15 sale. I am bundling my 2 books, Pressed But Not Crushed, plus the 30-day devotional, and I'm selling those for $15. So grab a set for yourself, for some friends, for some family members, and really this book is for anybody who is on the verge of quitting and giving up. Listen, this is going to kick you in the rear and give you that second wind and that motivation to persevere, push past spiritual warfare, push back any blockages, anything that's trying to hold you back. It's going to give you back your fight. And part of that hack is understanding the armor of God, because we talk about that a lot in the Christian community, but a lot of people don't know what it means to practically put on your armor every single day. And so I'm going to break it down for you in a way that's very simple. And it's also chock full of a ton of my personal testimonies of crazy situations that I found myself in where, I had to overcome and break through. And God was there all along the way. And those testimonies are to his glory. And so go out there and grab that set because, again, when we sell out of these, we'll be out of them. I mean, the book is also available on Amazon, but the $15 sale is only happening on CassandraBellevue.com. So that is my housekeeping administration items. And so all along the month, we've been talking about different topics related to purpose, calling, and destiny and launching out. Last week, we kind of did a series on things that can hinder you moving forward with your purpose, calling, and destiny. And then this week, we kind of shifted into, or yesterday actually, we shifted into things that can catapult you, like get you there faster with acceleration, okay? And I started talking about obedience, right? So yesterday was obedience, but I realized even within the topic of obedience, there are multiple things that, there's little subcategories to obedience. So yesterday we talked about obedience overall, but today I want to talk about divine instructions. Sometimes I call these marching orders. Sometimes I call this following the breadcrumbs. And it's basically when God comes to you and he gives you instructions, a lot of times we get stuck at the point where he delivers the instructions. Why? Because our own minds get in the way, y'all. Listen, when you're walking with the Lord, you can't overthink things. You cannot overthink things, because God doesn't operate always in a logical realm where it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. A lot of times, the things He asks us to do and the road He takes us down, it's one of those things where it's like hindsight is 2020. You look back and you're like, wow, now I understand why He had me to do that. You don't always understand the whys at the time. And one of my favorite examples of that is Noah building the ark. Now, many of us are familiar with that story, Noah and the ark, but a lot of times we're still stuck on the Sunday school version when we were little tiny tots. But some fun facts about Noah's story. God told him to build this ark because a flood was coming. God told him that basically there was going to be water falling out of the sky. Now, for Noah, that was a big mindset, change that he had to go through, because back in that day, the way that plants and crops and things got watered was like this sprinkler system that just came out from the ground. That's how the earth was watered. So for Noah, this concept of water coming out of the sky didn't even make any sense. And so nowadays, if God were to say, hey, it's going to be raining and flooding, we would actually understand that. We've seen what that devastation looks like. A lot of times we think of like Katrina, and things like that. We know what flooding can do, but like Noah didn't even have a grid for this. He didn't even understand. God is like, this danger is coming. I want you to build this ark. And he's like, he doesn't even have a full grasp of what that danger really looks like or entails. And so a lot of times when God asks you to do stuff, you don't really understand the whys of it all. But if you get stuck there, you may miss it. We have to be faithful to follow divine instructions. Another example that comes to mind is the widow in the Old Testament. No, yeah, the Old Testament. And off the top of my head, I can't remember if it's Elijah or Elisha. But she's like, yo, I'm in debt. We're poor. We don't have any more food to eat. She's like, I got this little bit of flour and oil in my house. I'm about to bake this for me and my kids, and then we just gonna die. And the prophet tells her, like, no, go and find all the empty pots in your house. She's probably looking at him like, I just said we ain't got nothing and we gonna die. He tells her to get all the empty pots in her house and then to send out her sons to go get all the empty pots from the neighbors as well. And basically that God was going to fill these things up with oil. Again, does that make logical sense? And that's what I want you guys to, that's kind of what I want to point out. When God gives you divine instructions, He's inviting you to participate in something miraculous that's about to go down. He's inviting you to be a part of something very divine. Okay? God plus anything equals miraculous. God plus anything equals success. Like, I want you to stop thinking about your own limitations and the things that don't make sense in your life, because that's going to do nothing but hold you back. Remember who God is and that He's still doing miracles today. And so if He's telling you to do something, there's a reason for it. Okay? I've shared testimonies of things He's asked me to do, and I'm like, but why? And then later on, I realized He had me one step ahead of a disaster that was heading my way. He had me one step ahead. So when that disaster hit, I wasn't taken out of the game. I wasn't down for the count, because He had me do things that pretty much were preparation, so that when it happened, I was like, oh, I felt the blow, but it didn't take me all the way out, And so we want to remember, like I said, divine instructions, marching orders, whatever you want to call them. A lot of times He gives us those. And so as a reminder for some of you, how does this relate to purpose, calling, and destiny? For some of you, He's given you a divine instruction. Whatever it was, do it. A lot of times I'll talk to clients and they're like, I don't really know what God wants me to do. And a lot of times I have to say, well, what was the last thing you remember Him telling you to do? Because a lot of times that's the jump off point. That is the launching point for you to start to begin the process. And a lot of times once you do the first thing, then He'll give you the next instruction, and then He'll give you the next instruction. That's why sometimes I call it following the breadcrumbs. So guys, like, I'm encouraging you, if you're one of those people that's been saying to yourself, like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, where to start, where to go, what was the last thing you remember, the last instruction you remember God giving you? Go back to that and do it ASAP. So I hope that was encouraging to you guys. I encourage you to go out to my linktree/Cassandra Bellevue. Sign up for a 15-minute session with me. It's free, and we can talk and see if this is a good fit for you. Book a 1-hour session, whatever you want to do. But I look forward to talking to you guys the rest of this month.